Sometimes the weight of a secret is heavier than the secret itself. It's like carrying a shadow that refuses to leave you, no matter how far you run. Today, I want to share a confession that I've never told anyone, until now. This story takes me back to my college years. I was 19, broke, and juggling part-time jobs while trying to keep up with my studies. Like most students, I was desperate to make ends meet, but I also had a habit of making impulsive decisions. And one day, that impulsiveness led me down a path I'll never forget. It all started when my roommate, Lisa, introduced me to an online bidding site. "You can get anything here for dirt cheap," she said. Electronics, clothes, even gadgets that seemed way too expensive for college students like us. It sounded too good to be true, and it was. I decided to give it a try. I found a laptop listed at half the price of retail. It seemed like a steal. The seller had good reviews, and I convinced myself this was my chance to finally replace my ancient, barely working laptop. So, without overthinking, I placed a bid. To my surprise, I won. The laptop arrived a few days later, and it looked perfect. Shiny, sleek, brand new. I felt like I'd hit the jackpot, but when I turned it on, things started to feel off. There was already a user profile on the screen, and the desktop was cluttered with files, photos, documents, even personal emails. At first, I told myself it was just a mistake. Maybe the seller forgot to reset the device. But curiosity got the better of me. I started going through the files. That's when I realized this laptop didn't belong to some random seller. It belonged to someone who had been hacked. There were bank statements, personal photos, even private conversations. I was holding someone else's life in my hands. A part of me wanted to delete everything and pretend I never saw it. But another part, one I'm not proud of, was tempted to dig deeper. I thought, who would ever know? It was like staring into a window of someone's private world, and I couldn't look away. For the next hour, I opened file after file, learning about this person's life, her family, her job, her struggles. It was wrong. Deep down, I knew it. But I couldn't stop. It felt like I was reading a book that I couldn't put down. And then I found an email draft, a letter she had written but never sent. It was addressed to her estranged father, apologizing for something that had happened years ago. Her words were raw, heartbreaking. Suddenly, it hit me. This wasn't just some random person. This was someone real, someone whose pain I had no right to invade. That was the moment I shut the laptop and made my decision. The next day, I contacted the seller and demanded to know where the laptop had come from. He ignored me, of course. So I decided to track down the original owner. It took weeks, but I finally found her email address buried in one of the files. I sent her an anonymous message explaining everything and offering to return the laptop. She replied the same day. Her response wasn't what I expected. She wasn't angry, just relieved. She thanked me for reaching out and said she'd been looking for her stolen laptop for months. I sent it back to her, wiped clean, with a handwritten note apologizing for what I'd done. She never replied, and honestly, I didn't expect her to. That experience changed me. It taught me that curiosity has limits and that crossing those lines can hurt more than we realize. It's a mistake I'll carry with me forever, but it also showed me the power of owning up to your wrongs, no matter how uncomfortable